so the distribution system was important, but Microsoft has a dual channel system. So we do go direct, although not many people know that Microsoft actually works directly with customers. In our enterprise space or in our large business space, we work very directly. It's important for us to have large customers who see people who are Microsoft. So it was important for us to know that there was a Microsoft suit walking into a big business who had a Microsoft business card and wasn't somebody who was representing us through a channel. So that was really key, and that is a worldwide strategy of ours. Although we do work with partners as we do that. So it becomes quite kind of complex, but think of it that we actually go very direct within large businesses. And then right at the bottom of the chain, if you could think about big business all the way through to consumer, we've just started going direct as Microsoft into the consumer. So you might have heard that Microsoft has just opened a Microsoft store, similar to something like the Apple store that you've seen in Sandton City before. It hasn't come to South Africa yet. Our policy is always that we try something first, we pilot it, and if it works, then we'll roll it out to the rest of the world. So they're testing that at the moment and seeing what happens there. Now, the interesting reason we did that, and it comes down to your channel strategy as to how you formulate that strategy, is we looked at the customers that we had and we understood and segmented our market and said, if the enterprise customer is the person who's seeing us in the boardroom, what are they doing when they're not in the boardroom? And what we found was on a Saturday morning they were going into a retailer who we had very little control over what happened to him on the Saturday morning when he went looking for his Microsoft Office for his son, or for something else that he was looking for his business, or possibly for his home business, or maybe for his wife, or kind of having a look at a Saturday morning shopping spree, and was getting a really, really different experience from what he had in the boardroom on Monday when he needed to make the decision as to was this the thing that he wanted to invest in for a multi-million investment for his company to support his business. So Microsoft going direct is interesting. We'll watch that, see what happens. The indirect side of it is really where the 6,000 partners come into South Africa and the 4,000 that are spread across the rest of sub-Saharan Africa, and really that is our lifeblood. That is the only way that we could actually possibly support the business of Microsoft. Those partners range from anything from a hardware supplier, so somebody like a Dell, your typical kind of hardware manufacturer who ships Windows, as we call it, ships. Right, it's one of our channels, so that's the OEM channel. We have TLAs, three-letter acronyms, all over Microsoft. I'll try not to use too many of them. And that was one of our traditional channels, right? So how do you get a PC? You get the PC, you're going to put the software on top, and it makes a lot of sense. Then the second channel we have is the value-added reseller, or the VAR channel, because I have to have an acronym for it. And that is where we have channel partners who actually use our software to be able to add value to it to the customer. So you have somebody within that value chain adding value as it comes through the chain towards the consumer. And that's an enormous channel for us, and in very, very, very segmented. One of the things we do is segment that market extremely and extraordinarily well in terms of what are the competencies of the people that are in that market, and how do we treat them and how do we work with them. So that's the indirect side of things. Then we have people who are building solutions on top of our market as well, on top of our software, and we have different segmentation for them.